prosecutorial misconduct. I have made the case before that you have a pumpkin for a DPP, but some lawyers continue to pretend that she is actually a DPP. And for some, they take it very seriously because they think it's an attack on womanhood or it's an attack on being Karima Jong. That's absolute nonsense. She's a pumpkin. She's deadwood. She's a dimwit. She's a careerist, shameless careerist. She's a cuckoo in the nest of our criminal justice system. You cannot, in 2024, hold the job of judge and prosecutor. All these things, like your particular kapafo, is then given legal dressing by this vagina from Karamoja.
This just in, the Chief Magistrate Court in Buganda, in Uganda in particular, has issued an order asking international police, commonly known as Interpol, to arrest President of Uganda Law Society, Ssemakade. Who is Ssemakade? Ssemakade is the newly elected President of Uganda Law Society, who is one of the most outspoken critics of the Ugandan government through the legal lens. Well, in this edition of Legal News Daily, I want to discuss everything concerning why Ssemakade has been issued an arrest against, whether indeed the Chief Magistrate's Court can actually issue an arrest against Ssemakade, and most importantly, what can Ssemakade do moving forward concerning this international police red notice. So, welcome to Legal News Daily, and let's discuss all of this moving forward. Hello everyone, welcome back to Legal News Daily. I'm your host Terry Kahuma on Simply Legal, and Legal News Daily is our legal news segment where we bring to you the latest legal news on a day-to-day basis. Well, straight to the point. Ssemakade, as we all know, has been the newly elected president of Uganda Law Society. Ssemakade has been an outspoken critic of the judiciary, which is one of the biggest arms of the Ugandan government, and he has been criticizing them for a very long time. Now, Ssemakade has had the biggest bad blood with the judge of the now Supreme Court, Musa Sekana, and also, most importantly, was taken to the Buganda Road Chief Magistrate's Court on charges of insulting the modesty of a woman under Section 115, subsection 3 of the Penal Code Act. Now, Ssemakade has been facing a lot of legal battles, from fighting against the Attorney General Chira Chwanuka, from battling against Musa Sekana, who is now the judge of the Court of Appeal, and now with a recent case that has been put against, it is claimed that he insulted the modesty of a woman under Section 115 of the Penal Code Act. Ssemakade was given a sentence of 2 years of court against Musa Sekana. So Musa Sekana, who is now the judge of the Supreme Court, ordered for Ssemakade's arrest for contempt of court. And we all know that this is one of the most horrendous, or this is one of the most ridiculous court cases, where we find that indeed this was not a legal issue, but it was a political issue. This was a personal witch hunt and vendetta against Ssemakade. Ssemakade now ran to Rwanda and is now in Zanzibar. But most importantly, 3 arrest warrants were issued against Ssemakade by a judge who is called Kaizi. Kaizi was compelled by the lawyers who are representing the DPP, who is the Director of Public Prosecution. So the case of the insult of modesty of a woman came from Byamazima and also Tumukunde. Now these 2 lawyers are now asking for the judge, who is now Kaizi, to be able to issue out an international arrest warrant for Ssemakade. So this order is now being given from the Chief Magistrate's Court to the international police. Now this is what's called an Interpol red notice. An Interpol red notice is basically a notice like the way you see an arrest warrant that is given in Uganda. If they've issued out an arrest warrant against Besigye, now this is an international red notice. A red notice is something that is given by Interpol, International Police, which is the National Crimes Police, to be able to arrest a person who has committed a very, very huge crime in the international scene. So an Interpol red notice is what the Buganda Chief Magistrate's Court has now issued against Ssemakade. So meaning that this is not an arrest warrant in actual sense. They are compelling, they are requesting through this order by Judge Kaizi or by Justice Kaizi to be able to ask Interpol to arrest Ssemakade, whether it's in Italy, whether it's in Spain, whether it's in the United States. So basically, this is something that Ssemakade is now, this is one of his biggest legal battles moving forward. Finally, we find that Ssemakade's lawyers, through GEM advocates, are now petitioning in the High Court to be able to say, you know what, this is actually wrong from the word go. Many of you may be asking, is it right to treat Ssemakade the way he's being treated, with even involving Interpol? No, because by the time these arrest warrants were issued against Ssemakade, it is a violation of his right to freedom of movement, right to freedom of expression, and his right to basically be a free man in the eyes of the law in Uganda and internationally, because these are fundamental human rights. These are all enshrined under Article 29 of the Constitutional Republic of Uganda. So basically, when you issue out these arrest warrants against Ssemakade and you're forcing him into exile, that means that he is not enjoying his fundamental rights enshrined under the United Nations Convention on Human Rights, rights and also his fundamental rights under the Constitutional Republic of Uganda 1995. So basically, we're seeing that his right to freedom of expression, right to freedom of speech, and right to freedom of movement, all enshrined under Article 29 of the Constitution, are all being violated. So therefore, Isaac Ssemakade, through his lawyers under GEM advocates, are now challenging this Interpol red notice that Judge Kayizi of Uganda Law Magistrate Court is now asking Interpol to issue against Ssemakade. Why? Because, like I've just explained, a red notice is only issued out to international criminals who are taken to, let's say, the ICC. But now, when you look at the crime that Isaac Ssemakade has been charged with, it's just an abuse or an insult to the modesty of a woman. And the modesty of a woman is stipulated under Section 115 of the Penal Code Act, and it's given a very, very minor sentence. So when you find the fact that Ssemakade committed this crime, which is almost a misdemeanor, it might even be a felony, a misdemeanor under the Penal Code Act, versus an international red notice that you're asking Interpol to put against him, then the crime does not fit the punishment. So we find that if you're charging Isaac Ssemakade for a misdemeanor, for those who may not know, a misdemeanor is a smaller, lesser crime which deserves a lesser punishment. A felony is a very large crime which deserves a capital punishment. And we all know the very, very big crimes in Uganda and the world in general. So basically, when looking at whether it is proper to issue out a red notice to him, no. Because if he has taken himself into exile after issuing to him 3 arrest warrants, then I think we should find other ways of maybe speaking to him. They can go into a roundtable discussion, perhaps with Judge Musa Sekana, or with the different court cases that he has against people who he has allegedly wronged. So let's see whether our beloved President of Uganda Law Society, Isaac Ssemakade, will be exonerated of all his crimes. His lawyers are now pushing the petition moving forward, and they're trying to see whether indeed they can quash or squash this Interpol red notice and all the arrest warrants that have been put against him. Well, I'm yours truly, Terry Kahuma. Until next time, I'll see you. Bye-bye.